We have all had those moments in life where it felt as if we were part of history simply by witnessing something. This is one of mine. We start by walking. Most of my family lives on the east side of the border. In 2035, my sister and I went to visit. Before our departure, the ministry said, everyone who leaves is allowed only one suitcase. I was only 10 years old. No point in arguing. The nuclear border fence was up, and the fifth war with Europa was still going on. My family lived in what used to be called the Old South, which is where people were still allowed to speak their mother tongue. One week after our arrival, we went to the Forest of Light. There was still a pretty large European military presence in the Old South at the time, so my sister and I were forced to carry our papers and vaccination records wherever we went. Circular investigation ends. In the Forest of Light, you could often see the European soldiers everywhere. Stop. Gaze at each other. Bounce twice. They were mysterious, powerful, and very loud. Interpret the words as you see fit. I never understood why they were there, but I thought of them as wild gold flowers, flowers gold wild in the middle of an unfinished circle. Also, I later discovered our mom was a soldier, but anyway, interpretation of words ends. Or does it? On this day, I was out walking my grandmother's dog with my aunt Lucas and my sister. The neighborhood was mostly quiet, nice, except for when the soldiers would come. It was pretty cold outside. As we walked along, we were heading towards some southern barracks. Stop. A subtle nod. The buildings were facing the sidewalk, and there were tiny balconies and fire escapes on the outside. One anchor in boneless joy. I remember that there were a lot of soldiers leaning out the windows, sitting on their balconies. Many of them were smoking, some were sitting on each other's laps, and others were chatting and drinking, so they all seemed to be having a good time. They all seemed to be fire escapes on the outside. One anchor, boneless joy. One of the soldiers had a sound-making apparatus called a loudspeaker, which apparently was some sort of special treasure in the old days. I can't remember what was playing at first. However, just as we came up alongside them, the song The End by a band called The Doors came on. Big eyes, big, big eyes. It was the strangest thing. It still gives me goosebumps today, but as the song started playing, all of the noise started dying down. Suddenly, these wild soldiers grew silent, and so did we. We stopped walking the dog and stood there for about 11 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We all listened to that song together. I could see particles of soldiers' breath floating in the clouds. Breathing bodies, bodies breathing. It felt heavy, poignant. It was an unspoken collective acknowledgement that things were not really okay out there. Through the brief pauses of the song, threat of violence was resting among us, waiting for us, singing to us in the background. The song ended. The noise came back. We started walking again.